Hello, Jesus friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor Janice, and in today's video, I am going to be sharing a part of my testimony. It's a story that, I've been wanting to share for a while. God's been pushing me and urging me to share this story because I believe this story will help a lot of people out there. A very sensitive subject. Am I frightened and nervous as all heck to tell this story? Yeah, but I have to tell it. I have to be vulnerable. I have to allow people to get to know me. And most of all, I have to share it with other people so that they can relate and hopefully it can minister and encourage somebody else. So, in today's video, it is going to be about how I found my father dead at the age of 9. Yes. It's going to be kind of a heavy subject. I don't have a script for this. I'm flowing off the top of my dome. I'm nervous. I'm scared. But if this can help someone, I am willing to sacrifice how I'm feeling right now to share this testimony. So keep on watching. Okay, so as you guys seen from my intro, I'm going to be sharing a part of my testimony, and that is me finding my father dead at the age of 9 and how it shaped the trajectory of my life. And as you all can imagine, 9 years old, and I was faced with such a crazy experience. Like, it traumatized me. It did a lot to me. But one thing I know it did was it made me a lot stronger. And I know when people say that after they've been through like a traumatic situation, it sounds so cliche, but it is so true. Like, I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I didn't go through that experience. So how did it happen? I was 9 at the time, as I said, and it was between the hours of 8 and 10 in the morning. And I just remember getting up. I can't remember what happened in those hours, but I remember I got up and my dad is laying on the couch. Now, my dad was an epileptic, so he had epilepsy and stuff, and that's a neurological disorder that affects your brain activity, and it caused him to have seizures. So what happened was I remember my dad had slept on the couch that night. I don't remember for what why he slept on the couch, but I do know he slept on the couch that night, because that's where I found him. And he was face down. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, why is my dad, face down? I'm thinking he's sleeping and stuff like that. So I go to wake him up. Let me backtrack. He was an epileptic, so he ended up having a seizure and suffocating in the couch. So fast forward, I see him laying on the couch, and I'm thinking he's asleep. So I go to wake my father up, and my father, when I go to wake him up, I'm like, Dad, I go to wake him up, and he falls on my feet, and it freaks me out. And not only him falling on my feet freaks me out, his face freaks me out, because it's like somebody had smashed him in the face with a skillet. And I'm sorry for the explicit details. So if you can't stomach this, if this is a trigger for you, please turn off right now. I don't want to trigger you. I don't want to make you sad. I don't want to set you off. So if that is a trigger for you, please turn off this video. Pray before you watch this video. Do whatever you need to do. But if this will be a trigger for you, please turn off now. Turn off. Exit now, please. So I'm gonna continue. So it looked like somebody had smashed him in the face with the skillet, and that's what scared me. So I scream as loud as I can, and since it scares me, I run in where my parents' bedroom. So I run in there. I don't know what I'm thinking in the moment. I just thinking like, what's going on? My thoughts are scrambled. My dad is dead. I don't know what to do. And it's like, I knew I didn't need to call the police. I didn't need to call 911 to know that my father was gone. Like, I knew the moment my dad didn't answer me, or when I shook him the first time, wake up to me, I knew he was gone. My dad never just ignored me like that unless he was really mad, and my dad did not get mad at me often. So I knew he was gone. Like, I did not need to call 911 for them to tell me that my dad was gone. I knew it already. So I run in my parents' bedroom, and I'm collecting myself. And then when I finally collected myself, it wasn't that long. I didn't stay in my parents' bedroom long. I hopped on the bed, and then I went back in the living room where my dad was, and I got on the phone and I called my best friend at the time. I'm gonna leave her name out. I called my best friend at the time, childhood friend at the time, and I said, help. Like, I'm just hysterical over the phone, like, help, like, my daddy's dead, my daddy's dead. It went to voicemail, so I left her a voicemail. And so the next people I called was 911. I said, 911, what's your emergency? My dad is dead. Like, that's the first thing I said. Like, they probably didn't even say their full greeting good enough before I'm yelling over the phone, my dad's dead. And so it was a lady operator at the time. I remember it was a lady operator at the time, and she told me to check my dad's pulse, check his pulse. I was like, I don't feel a pulse, but I lied and said that I didn't feel a pulse. I told them that I checked his pulse, but I didn't feel it. But I knew when I saw him that he was gone. Like, I didn't need to check his pulse. I didn't need to feel on his head, because she wanted me to feel on his head to see, if he was freezing cold. I was like, my dad is freezing cold. I said, my dad is freezing cold. And because that's what she asked me. She asked me if he was freezing. I said yes. And so she was like, well, we're going to get some people on the way to you right now. I was like, okay. And then I hung up the phone. So the next person I called was my mom. And so when they answered the phone, my daddy said, I need to talk to my mom because my dad is dead. I need to talk to my mom. Like, I got transferred to like 2-3 people. And it's like, between them transfers, like, if anybody knows, well, I can't say my mom's company. If anybody knows, it's so hard to get a hold of, like, your mom or anybody. Like, if somebody's at work, it takes a minute before they can transfer. That's how my mom's job worked, at least. Like, it took a while for them to transfer them through regularly, but this day it's like they were transferring them through. Like, as soon as I said I need because my dad is dead, it's like I was to her already. Like, this whole day went so fast. So they transferred me. I went through 2 people and they transferred me to her because I didn't know her department directly. I always forgot what her department was called. So I got to my mom. My mom answers the phone and she was like, this is Ernie. Mom, dad is dead. It's like, when I uttered those words, I just hear the phone drop and my mom's footsteps coming towards me. Like, I heard her running towards me. And so I believe I hung up the phone. So it's like, by the time I hung up the phone, 911 was already outside our door. It's like crazy how everything went so fast. Like by the time I got off the phone with my mom, 911 was there already. And then there's a cousin of ours that was there too. How he knew, I have no idea. Because it's like by the time I got off the phone with my mom, my cousin was there already. I don't know. It's maybe God sent him as an angel so I wouldn't be so frightened. But I don't know. But I walk outside, 911's doing their thing inside with my dad. And then it's like from the time my mom got off that phone and I heard her footsteps running towards me to the time I walked outside, my mom was there. My mama had parked the car all crazy and she tries to run inside. I know 911 had made it before her because when she tried to run inside to my dad, they had to stop her because like there's a dead person on scene. So they had to stop her and stuff like that. And I just remember I've never seen my mom so hysterical, and I don't ever want to see my mom that hysterical ever again in my life. Like that was just a crazy day. And so after that, people are fluttering outside because we live in front of we lived in front of apartment complexes. I don't live there anymore. We lived in front of apartment complexes, and so if there's any action, of course people are going to gather outside. So people are just gathered outside seeing what happened. My childhood friend, one of my other childhood friends, they lived across the street in those apartment complexes, and they came outside. I ended up going to their house a little bit. I remember my aunt came over and she took me to KFC and stuff like that to take my mind off of things, and it was just a crazy day. It's like the whole entire house, it felt like, had people there. It's like our whole house was flooded with people, like family and stuff like that. So that was a crazy day. Now, how did it shape my life? I went through, because my dad really set the standard for me in a crazy way. My dad was a Jehovah's Witness, which I know isn't the way. But my dad protected me. He always showed me that he loved me. And I knew, like, my dad was like my best friend. Like, I was a daddy's girl. So it changed the trajectory of my life, because there is a moment in my womanhood where daddy issues show up, and it's daddy issues in a different way because I had a dad. I know what it's like to be a daddy's girl. So for daddy issues to show up in the different men that I'm seeing is crazy to me, because I'm looking for a man like my father. But my father ain't here no more. So how can, but my father was a good man. My father was a good dad. So how in the hell can you have daddy issues? That ish is real. And I've had those issues. I'm looking for my dad's love in these men. And I don't say that for my dad to be in vain, like he was just a bad dad. I say that because if I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want no one who can't protect me, who can't love for me, who can't care for me as my father did. Like, my father, to me, set such a high standard to me for what it is to be loved. Now, I know my dad was not perfect and everything. My dad had his faults, but That man just set the standard for my entire life. So when I get in my womanhood and I'm entering my womanhood and daddy issues show up, whoa. And it's not until now that I'm recognizing that I am still battling with that. I can't even lie and say that I'm not battling that. I am still battling with those kind of issues, because I just thank my father for setting such a high standard in what to look for in a man. Like, I went through a time where I'm looking for my dad's love in these men, and they can't offer me that because they can't offer their self anything. Like, the men that I had to encounter probably couldn't look at their reflection in the mirror. And it's so odd that I did have these issues. It's so odd. It's so odd, but some of those men couldn't offer me much outside of sex. Like, the only thing those men could offer me was sex. And that's how I feel like not all men, but a lot of men are. They can't offer me much. And because my dad just set the standard so high. My dad set the standard so high, and it's a weird thing. I have to take a moment. Because I don't want to ramble. Okay, so I know in one way it shaped my father. Me finding my father dead at 9 has shaped my life, because at one point I thought that no one could ever love me like my dad loved me, because my dad loved the mess out of me, you feel me? So I thought I would never encounter a love like that ever, until God stepped in. Like, when I look back on that situation, that was only God who was with me. People outside my window. Okay, sorry about that. God was with me throughout that entire situation. And I would be a fool to say that he wasn't. And God has showed me so much with that situation. Because I know in the Bible it talks about God is a father to the fatherless. And I know ever since my dad did pass away, I know God has just had his hand on me, and God has showed me so much grace and mercy despite what I've done. Because if I'm gonna be real with you, entering into womanhood, I lost myself. I didn't know who Taylor was, and it's still trying to, at 25 years old, still trying to figure her out. Still trying to figure her out. I'm having booms, and this must gonna help somebody, because I have distractions around me. As a 25-year-old woman, I'm still trying to figure her out, but God ain't never left me. He was a father to me. God has always taken care of me. God ain't never left me. God ain't never left me. And I thank God not for the situation of my father passing away, but I thank him for always showing me the love that I thought I was missing. Like sometimes all I want to feel is like I'm wanted, but nobody around me has made me feel unwanted. It's just like when you don't know yourself, you feel lonely regardless. And I've spent so many days wishing that I had that love, and for the longest time I thought that nobody would ever love me like my dad did, until God stepped in my life. I was 21 when God came and found me. When God found me, when God changed my life, I was 21 years old on a very dark path because of the daddy issues that I never knew I had. Because of finding my father dead at 9, I was acting out of a lot of my trauma. After I graduated high school, I was acting out of just my trauma, and I never realized it until I started going to therapy. Therapy's been helping me a lot, but my relationship with God has helped me to understand that. And so it makes me wonder, would God have found me sooner? You know what I'm saying? Would I have given my life to Jesus sooner than that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that my dad would have strayed me from Jesus. Not at all. But I know I wouldn't be the way that I am now. I am strong. I am freaking outgoing, just like my dad. I'm just like my dad in many ways, especially personality-wise. I'm just like my dad. But what happened to me at 9, the traumatic experience I experienced at 9, has made me a much better person. And I'm glad, because I have the compassion that I do. I can encourage people like I do. And that only comes from the love that I was given from my father. He encouraged me. He was always there for me. He gave me so much love. So much love. So I only want to make that man proud. And I know I am making him proud now. But I'm not happy that I went through what I went through. But I'm appreciative that I went through what I went through, because I wouldn't be the woman that I am now and growing to be and transforming into. So, yeah, this video is awkward to make, weird to make. I don't know what's going to come out of this, but don't let your traumas affect you in a negative way. Give it to God, And it took me from 9 years old to 21. Really now, I'm still trying to work on just being there, being the woman that 9-year-old needed. Feel me? So I hope you all were able to, get to know me a little better. Sorry for being so nervous in this video. Sorry for all the distractions. I didn't know how or where this video was going, but I know I needed to share that because God has been urging me and pressing me to share that story. So I hope I can encourage you all to keep going. Don't give up on God. God is there for you through the mess. Like people always say, God will turn your mess into your message. God turned my trauma into a testimony, and I'm able to say it right here, right now, because who can it help? I don't know, but I hope it can help someone. You are not what you've been through. You are much stronger than that. And what you've been through can help somebody else. It was for a reason. And God wept when you wept. God didn't want to see and doesn't want us going through those traumas. But man, do you turn out I feel like I am a much stronger woman because of this and growing into that woman. So I hope this encouraged someone. I'm glad to share this. I think I am going to start doing Testimony Tuesdays. I don't know if this is going to be going up on a Tuesday because God is urging me to get this message out. So, yeah. That's it. That's all I got. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day, night, weekend, weekday, whatever it is, what time it is over there. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.